TLDR, we need to master the art of not giving a What is up, people out there, and welcome to my channel where I talk about living in Japan on JET program and traveling and stuff like that. So this is another one of the videos where I just talk about my experiences and how I feel, so hopefully the experiences can give some insight into people that may be on JET or might want to live in Japan or something. But in this video I want to talk about just leaving JET, because I'm leaving after 5 years. Never thought I'd be saying that. But I want to talk about kind of my whole process on that, how I've felt, and my ideas about uncertainty, and my ideas about stress management that I have learned from just going through the stress and like kind of just falling apart on the inside and then coming back from that and then falling apart again and then coming back and just trying to manage like moving countries and changing jobs and like a whole bunch of relationships changing or getting lost all at the same time, which for any one human seems almost like it's not unbearable, but it's a lot. That's a lot. But yeah, so I want to talk about my experience and then yeah, just stress, and then stress coping mechanisms and some insights on that. So I do think leaving is hard. Depends on the person, and of course, like they always say, like every situation is different. But for me, this is probably, I'm lucky to say, like one of the hardest times of my life. Yeah, it just, for me, it feels like it's always in the back of my head that I know I'm leaving, and like it makes everything a lot more sweet, but also a lot more kind of like nostalgic, even though you're already here. It's really weird, but for me it's hard just because I do love living in Japan and I love the kids and my school's good, but I can see myself just kind of like my wheels are spinning, so to speak. I'm not really growing, which I value. I think I value. I also value comfort, but I just see this as a temporary job, and I do want a little more balance between stability and fun and adventure, so I'm leaning a little more towards stability and family and career. But this has been super stressful, so I started therapy, but I found that venting on YouTube about things is cheaper than $300 therapy per month, and this is more effective, hopefully, because I can at least hopefully help some people out there who are going through the same thing. But yeah, this is probably one of the hardest times of my life, and it's just probably been constant stress, more or less for me, for 6 months, ever since they gave out the, like, what is it, the recontracting thing, the special recontracting in January for doing JET for 6 years. But I mean, it's also nice at this point that I can't change it. I guess I have to leave, and there's probably like a new me that's gonna come in and like take my job, which is great. I think my school deserves fresh, you know, someone who has more energy and all that stuff. But I talked to my coworker today, and he had kind of a fresh, you know, logical and kind of obvious but easy to overlook insight that change is scary, and as humans inherently we don't want uncertainty and we don't want like change. Basically, it's kind of hard to do that. So it's natural. He said like it's natural to feel scared. It's natural to feel stressed, so don't feel bad about it. Which kind of made me like feel normal about it. It made me realize like this is normal. I am human. A lot of other people probably feel like me, and you know, it is hard. Change is hard. There's a lot you don't know about leaving JET. JET is like the most comfortable, in a lot of ways, amazing job I've ever had. Like being able to help the kids and talk to the kids without being stressed or pressured, and my boss is absolutely great. He's always supportive. If I ever hurt my back, I hurt my back once, and he was like helping me go to the doctor and whatnot. So change is scary. And with that, I think that's where my anxiety comes from, is that you have this variable in front of you that used to be on JET. You just have this clear out path and you don't really see where it's ending. You just have JET, 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 JET. But once you get towards the end of Jet, it's kind of a variable more so, and you can fill in that variable with whatever you think. Like for me, it's going back to America after 5 years and after COVID. So arguably it's a new America, new lifestyle, new everything. And it's really easy to fill in the gaps that you don't know yet. For me, that's what I do. And those tend to be negative. Those tend to be very negative, especially too, because a lot of what you don't know is either filled in by news or, for me, by people I asked on Facebook about how America's doing, and that response is also not great. But I think one thing we can ask ourselves as people who are leaving Jet, or really anyone, at any time about a stressful thing, you can ask yourself, is this permanent? And is there anything I can do about it? And in the instance of Jet, leaving is not permanent. There will be a future us, there will be a future you, there will be a future me that's done with this in 4 months, in 5 months, 6 months, and that person will be done with all the stress and done with all the hard parts and done with all the goodbyes, which will be hard. But for me, I realize that there will be a future me that is done with this. There will be a future me that's not stressed out. So that's kind of beautiful. It reminds me of all the other times in my life where I've also been stressed out, and maybe a lot of you guys out there have also had this, where you have a stressful time in your life, and it's this cycle of like stressor, you're super stressed, you try to change it, or maybe you don't even try to change it, and then you're stressed, and then eventually, just for whatever reason, either it resolves or you resolve it, then you're fine. And then another stressor comes, and then you're stressed about it, and then maybe you try to resolve it or you think about it. But a lot of things you can't really change, I'm realizing. So the faster you and me can realize that there's a future you that's done with this, number one. And number two, that stressors will go away. And also, if you can change it, try to change it. But if you can't, the faster you can just accept that, the faster you'll be able to take your mindfulness back and take control of your time. Which is what would be great right now, because all my time now, like 90% of my time is spent just being like, I have like 500 things to do, and my bills, and I have to call my companies and cancel all my things, and like sell my stuff, and like try to figure out my boyfriend and I doing where we're going and all that stuff. So the faster I've found, the faster you can accept all those things, and the faster you can just learn to not fight things, that'll it'll make it a lot easier for you to just be less angry. Like, I've always been a fighter in life. I'm always like pushing, and I don't really give up on anything ever, no matter how much I should or want to. I'm very like stubborn, but for me in this instance isn't really helping, because I'm just like, I'll harp onto one thing that I can't change and then get really butthurt about it, whether it's leaving or trying to sell my stuff to the person coming, but they're not here yet, so I can't do it. Or the exchange rate being the worst it's been in like 20 years, and me not sending enough money home. You know, I can't change that, and the faster I realize that, the faster you guys out there can either try to realize you can try to change your problems, or if you can't, just don't care about it. Like, that'll help us be more mindful in these last few months here. Now time for some stress management exercises. Like, really, in short, we just need to not give a hoot in a censored way. Like, if you imagine yourself thinking of what you're stressed about, identify what you're stressed about, and then imagine yourself like holding on to it. And I imagine myself like as if it's like a balloon or something, like just physically actually like letting go and like seeing it kind of float away. And just say out loud, like, I don't give a crud about this. I don't care. I don't care about blank. Like, imagine yourself letting it go. And, like, just let go. Because it'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Everything in your life has been fine. Everything in my life has been fine. And we're not going to die from anything that's stressing us out. And if we do, then it doesn't matter because you're dead. So everything's going to work out, really. So... also, I wanted to share some like stress coping tips because my therapist was telling me some, which seemed kind of helpful. But she was saying, since you always have your breathing with you, if you're really stressed out, try to breathe in like really deep for like, 4 seconds, hold it for 2, and then release it for 4, and then just focus on your breathing, and that'll kind of snap you out of any sort of stress ideas or stress feelings that you have. So I do that. Or another technique is to focus on your body, so focus on your head and then your neck and then your shoulders and try to relax those, and then pair that with the breathing. And a more mental technique, a stronger mental technique, if you're really spiraling in your head, she told me you can try to look around the room and then try to identify anything in the alphabet. So like A would be, I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing, but just try to look around your room and identify items that match with the alphabet. So A for like apple or something, B for... Yeah, I can't even do it right now, so it takes a lot of mental energy. So that'll snap you out of any stress. But I just tell myself, in short, again, I've always had stress in my life. Half the things that have stressed me out remained now. Like, are they still existent in my life? And the answer to every one of those stressors is no, which means I'm going to be fine, and you're going to be fine, and everything that's stressing us out at some point will end. So the faster we can learn to just kind of go with the flow and just try our best, the faster stress will go away. So I hope this video was useful. I really want to learn the things that I'm actually saying, because easier said than done, of course, but if all of us can try to master stress management techniques, especially in these days, I think we'll all feel a lot better. So how are you feeling now? What are your stress management techniques? How do you feel if you're leaving Jed? How do you feel if you're coming in? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you around.
Momo-chan desu.